Alright, a lot of people were asking for some gameplay video to understand how to pilot the deck. So we're gonna use the same deck list from the 1K tournament. I have 3 games that we'll go through because it shows different aspects of the deck, different strategies, and game plans. Funny enough, I make a couple of misplays in every game, which I think it might be because it was the first time I have tried to talk through my games and play them at the same time. And I'm not used to playing online, so essentially I had to do voiceover for some of the games. But I think this is actually good content for people that are new to the deck because you can see the mistakes that I make and essentially how I come back from them. So this could be very informative. Since this is the first gameplay video, let me know if I should just speed up the gameplay or this is enjoyable. I feel like maybe it's too slow, but just let me know. Hope you guys enjoy. Okay, I wanted to start with the Kai'Sa game because people were asking if this deck just loses to Kai'Sa, which no. It's gonna be pretty funny because in this game I make a pretty huge mistake that almost cost me the game. So that's why I actually wanted to show this game, just to show how the deck can recover from behind. And also the guy malts really hard at the end, so we'll see that. So here I almost keep just one of our 3 drops, but then decided to not do that since Kai'Sa, again, she has a lot of direct damage, so she tends to kill a lot of our units, which is foreshadowing to what happens. So I just decided to keep 2 in case one gets taken down. We go first, which is good. So here, pretty simple, we just start with the mask and then we pass. So then I'm mapping out my next turn, right? We're gonna play a 3 and probably hold the Defy, which is what we do. And then we just pass. Yep, we let him conquer, and here's where I made the mistake. So I play this Sunlit Guardian, which is correct. Well, sure, first we should always conquer, show less information. Or I guess, yeah, I just play this on lit. Uh, but here I push him with the legend ability, which is a huge mistake because I am opening myself up to Falling Star, right? Because I essentially don't leave the discipline up, which the discipline will let me save one of my 2 units, but instead get super greedy and go for double point, which is again huge mistake. What I should have done was not push the Sunlit and leave 3 mana up, essentially giving me a Defy and a Discipline up, which would have been huge. So we see how I pay for the mistake. Here he'll go and of course do what I just said. He's gonna Falling Star both of our units, which puts us in a huge disadvantage. Devastating, wanted to concede, whatever. We just, try to play it out, play to our outs, try to recover from it and see where it goes. So that's the plan. Looking at our hand, our next play is just gonna have to be Mind Splitter. We don't have anything better to do. Mind Splitter will give us some information of how we need to proceed the rest of the game, which is always valuable. So then he reveals a pretty stacked hand. He has 6 cards, we only have 4, so we're pretty behind here. From this hand, the Watcher is always the best card, right? Like Watcher can just turn around the game, so we just get rid of the Watcher there. But we already know that he has a Retreat, Raven Bloom, Stupefy, Darius, and the Hexic Ray. So here, unfortunately he goes to 5, of course. We're super behind, we're at 2. So he's gonna have a decision to make, which is the correct one. He just retreats everything and sets up for next turn to essentially come back and destroy us. Yep. So we get a Sonya's, which is pretty good. That means that we're gonna be able to use our Mind Splitter to defend ourselves. Here I wasn't unsure if I wanted to protect the one that lets you push back your unit or the bar, and I decided to go for the one that lets you push back the unit because I don't want him to control that one, right? That one is like super good for him. He can essentially dodge all of our units, all of our attacks, and save his units. So we want to take control of that one. And then I passed with a ton of mana up, right? We have all of our tricks. We can ride the wind on his turn to essentially get the other one and then get the point from holding. So that's an option. Here, I was thinking about it, but the thing is, even if we do it and we prevent this, he's gonna go to 6 anyway when he conquers, I think it's the row, something like reverse row. So we just let that one happen, and I decide best chance to win this game is to essentially fight for the other battlefield. Yep, so here we just decide to stay because again, this is the only way that we can win. So again, always remember, play to win, don't play to not lose. So here we have to play this battlefield defended, right? It's our only chance to win, so we have to go for it. So here, again, pretty helpful that we know exactly what he has in hand. We know he has that Stupefy. So that one we're gonna let it through. Here's the funny part. He complains that we have 2 defies at the end of the game, and you'll see he crashes out essentially. But he top deck a cleave, and with the stupefy he got the other cleave, which is like, okay, you cannot complain of me having 2 defies if you just top deck back-to-back cleaves, but whatever. So we defy the first one. Important thing to know is when you counter a spell in this game, the card doesn't count as played, so Darius doesn't untap and get the +2 because we're countering the spell. Essentially, it's like the Darius never sees that this spell resolves, so it doesn't count as being played. So here, we feel pretty confident, right? We counter the second one, and then from what we did before, we know that he has Ray, Recall, I think it's called, and Retreat. Yeah, he has Retreat, the Ray, and an unknown card. So he gets a Kai'Sa back, which I don't know if it was play, but he decides to do that. This goes to 7. Now we feel pretty confident with our discipline, right? Because we're gonna force him to use the Ray to trade, and we have the Sun just to save our unit, or he just loses the combat, which he's of course not gonna do. He goes for the Ray. That's fine, right? We're okay with that. He can conquer if he wants. He's gonna go to 7. That doesn't matter for us, and we're saving our unit thanks to Sonya's. So we offer the damage trade. We're good. Yeah. So this is what I meant in the guide. Kai'Sa, once you take away their big units, their small units don't do anything essentially. Once you put the big bodies, they are useless. So here we know that he has a Kai'Sa in hand and he has the Watcher in hand. Well, no, yeah, the Sentry, sorry. That one he just drew. So here we just go with the Tasty, we start taking things back. We know that he has to conquer both, and he's just gonna have 2 units left, and he has to get over a ton of might, right? Because we have the mask, each one is gonna defend for 7 and 8, so it's gonna be very, very hard for my opponent to come back from, or take the battlefields at this point. So remember how he was complaining about me having the 2 defies? Well, guess what? He top 6 the 3rd cleave, which he's about to use now. I was checking because I was like, oh, he already played 2. There's no way that he's gonna have the 3rd. And of course, he has it. So that puts the Raven Bloom to 6. He decides to attack with both. Yep. And then I almost forgot that I have the mask because I was like, oh, I just killed the Raven Bloom and it's fine. But then I was like, wait, I can also kill the other one because of the mask. So we trade both. Get 2 runes, draw a card. And again, we already know he has 1 Kai'Sa in hand. Yep, he goes for the Kai'Sa. He's gonna draw 2 cards. That's fine with us. Yep, we're okay with that. And we're okay with that. Again, Kai'Sa doesn't do anything once you start like taking out their big units. Their small units are like useless. So here we just go with the second Tasty. Clean it up. I forgot to discard the point for hold. That's why we go from 6 to 7. And then we essentially are in a super commanding position. We just need to hold one of the battlefields. We have a fight or flight which we're gonna hide, and then we're just gonna hold a right to win to essentially win the game at this point. So we pass the turn. Essentially, it's impossible for our opponent to come back, or almost impossible. And then he just crashes out. You know, it's funny when I play this deck. I've heard this so many times. I think it's because people are not used to getting beat with Yasuo. They're always like, "Oh, you always have everything you need," and it's like, no, you play around the cards that you draw. That's why it has to feel like I have everything because I play with the cards in mind. And then he just complains that, oh, I had the two tasties and the two defies when he just topped like insane cards back to back. Okay. The next game I wanted to show is against Sett. So we win the die roll, and also in this Sett game I make a mistake. Not as big as the one with the falling star, but I definitely make a mistake. And also, this is one of those games where you have to play the Yasuo early, and essentially you have to protect the Yasuo to win the game. So that's why I thought that this was a cool game, because a lot of people were asking when do you play Yasuo, and I always tend to say yes, you want to save him until the end to close out the game. But in this game, we can see how playing him early also can essentially lead you to winning games. So here in the we have our starting hand. We just bottomed the two big units. We're pretty far from playing either of them. And I like that we have Stack Deck and Sonya's because that essentially gives us options. So seeing our hand now, we have a Wielder, which means we'll have a turn to play. And here is very important to map out your plays with this deck. So essentially because we have a 2 and then a 3 and a 1, essentially we have a 4 for next turn. We play Sonya's first turn, planning on playing the Wielder plus the Stack Deck on the next turn. So here we see the fight, discipline, and fight or flight. We already have two fight or flight in our hand, so we don't want that. And I'm between the discipline and the defy. I ended up going with the defy because, well, he's playing Sett. So yellow has a lot of cards that kind of mess with us. They have Hidden Blade, which is huge against our deck. And then they also have Showstopper, which is, of course, a really strong card. So I just take the Defy. I mentioned it in my guide, how I think, I don't know, I think Defy is just such a good card, right? So whenever I see one, I always have like to at least have one, because a well-placed Defy can essentially win you games. So in this case, I just take the Defy, save it in my hand for the future, and go from there. Then he plays his Sett champion, goes back to us, and here's when I'm gonna make the mistake. So drawing the right to win means that we have literally no plays in this turn other than the Yasuo. So we kind of have to play the Yasuo, because if we just pass doing nothing, we're essentially gonna lose the game, right? So I don't know exactly why, but I decided to move the Wielder to score a point, which means that I'm essentially going to lose him for free and get this Sonya's cracked. What I probably should have done was hide a fight or flight here. Again, I'm not used to playing online. I was kind of distracted because I was recording with commentary, and it was my first time doing commentary while I was playing live. So I was a little bit all over the place. But yeah, so we essentially decided to play the Yasuo and pass. So here he uses the buff. Comes in as an 8, we lose the Sonya's for no reason. Yep, he plays a Fiora, buffs the Fiora. So now she's essentially going to be mighty, which means she gains deflect, ganking, and shield +1. And he passes the turn. So here essentially now we have to play with our Yasuo. If our Yasuo dies, we kind of lose the game. So we just need to be super careful. And here the Defy that I picked earlier comes in clutch, kind of saves the day. Defy the Hidden Blade. Yep, he decides to save it. We get our second point. And then here I have essentially two options. And again, here I think I should have hidden the fight or flight on the battlefield with the Yasuo. I don't do it. But yeah, the other option was to use the legend ability and push the Yasuo back, which was a little bit safer. But since I have fight or flight, ride the wind, and rebuke in hand, I feel kind of comfortable to essentially play some mind games with my opponent, and I leave the piece out there to see what I get out of him, and if I can essentially get some free points with the ride the wind, push his unit, rebuke his unit, or something along those lines. So yeah, now he attacks with the Fiora, uses Primal Might. Here I just fight or flight the Fiora back. And again, this is one of the situations that that fight or flight should have probably been hidden, and the reason is because, well, he could have had another Hidden Blade. He could have had, well, I guess I couldn't be safe from challenge, but yeah, another Hidden Blade. I could have protected myself from it by just hiding the card. Again, a little bit of a misplay. Thankfully, he didn't have another one, but just this is the type of things that you should keep in mind, and that's why I wanted to show these games, because I'm making a lot more mistakes than usual, but I feel like this kind of shows what people that don't play this deck a lot go through. So yeah, here I just play the deflect. We successfully defend the Yasuo. And my opponent goes to the second battlefield and does the little Sett trick. Essentially, because he conquer, he gets a buff, and then he sacks the triggers in the correct order. He can take out the buff and draw from the battlefield, and see, since he has the bar, he can just buff it again. So now we draw a Discipline, which makes me feel a lot more comfortable, since now we can boost the might of our Yasuo at instant speed. So I just decide to push the Yasuo back, we get the +1 from the bar, and then we go in and attack. We trigger the attack trigger from Yasuo. And here there's some confusion from our opponent. He essentially thinks that the Yasuo ability exhausts your unit when you move him, which wouldn't make sense, right? That will be just a standard move of any unit. That will make the Yasuo ability horrible, essentially. So we just do a little back and forth, just clarifying, so my opponent doesn't feel like I'm cheating him or anything like that. So yeah, he decides to save the Sett with the legend ability. We go to 4. And like I said, we have a ton of resources in hand, so we feel comfortable baiting our opponent and leaving the Yasuo on the battlefield. Again, same mistake, should have been hiding the fight or flight on that battlefield to protect my unit just in case. Here he plays very big sabotage, so I decided to proactively play the discipline because he's likely to discard it, and then just having the +2 might in this turn to defend is huge, since that Sett can only go up to 8 essentially if he only gets 1 buff, which because the bar can only give it to exhausted units, it's gonna be hard for him to get 2 buffs on him before he can move. Then I missed that he was pinging the rebuke for a while, so then I finally realized what was happening. So yeah, I just discard the rebuke to keep the game going. Then he plays the monk, buffing the Sett, and we can already tell what he's gonna try to do is use the buff, put him to 8, and try to trade with our Yasuo essentially. I think he's thinking for a while there. Yeah, I was confused with the question mark because I wasn't sure what he was waiting for. Yep, and then he finally decides to move in. So here what I decide to do is the fight or flight to my own Yasuo. The reason behind that is because he still has 2 runes open, which means that if I push his Sett, he can still do Showstopper and push him back in. And at that point, essentially it's, and because he will be exhausted when I push him back, he could use the bar, pump him again, put him to 12, and then come in as a 12 and completely blow me out. So I just decided to push my own Yasuo back to essentially try to conquer next turn. Yep, then he just conquers with the Fiora. And passes the turn. So now that we have a Defy in hand, we feel a lot more comfortable going in and doing some attacks. And we also have the right to win in case anything goes wrong. So here essentially I am like, okay, we need to conquer both because we want to go to 6. We have the right to win, which means I can do my standard movement, conquer one, ride the win to the other battlefield, conquer the other one, and then use my Yasuo Legend ability to push me back onto the base for only 4 mana. So that way I can get 2 points, go to 6, which is a very important breakpoint, and then save my Yasuo by putting him in my base and getting him ready to fight again in the next turn. So we start here, and I was debating between going for the Sett or the Fiora because he can only save 1, right? Both were buffed. So I thought that it was more likely of him to try to save the Sett since it's a more valuable unit. So I wanted to try to like force him to have interaction with the Sett first. Then we decide to ride the win. Do the attack, we pay the deflect because we're targeting the Fiora. Here, again, I guess he forgot, but he tries to recycle 1 to save her. But yeah, you can't. You can only save 1 per turn because you need to exhaust the legend for it to save it. So he loses the Fiora. We go to 6. Now we feel pretty comfortable in this position, right? We can just do 2. Back him out. Yeah, actually, yeah, you don't even need the legend ability because when you move with Ride the Wind, it readies your unit. Yep, so he just plays a Kiana. There's a showstopper, which he had, so fight or flight my own unit was the correct play. So those are the kind of decisions that make or break this deck, right? If I would have decided to push his guy and not play it against around the showstopper, I would have lost the game. But because I decided to protect my own Yasuo, we're still in the game, and like you guys will see, we're gonna win. Here he essentially fishes for 2 cards since he had the buff and the Kiana trigger, so we're pretty comfortable now. We know we essentially have this. We have the Defy for whatever he has, and then we have 3 units in base, so it should be pretty simple. Here he's deciding if he should try to defend 2 battlefields or just try to stack everything onto 1. And he decides to stack everything onto 1. Which, if I'm being honest, is not the best idea against Yasuo. It's a lot better if you stack a bunch of small units because the attack trigger can only target one thing. It's not like you can spread it out. But in this case, the way that this is stacked is not good. So now we have a stacked deck. We just, you know, check our options before we decide to do any plays. We see what we have. And we find the second ride to win. Pretty much sealing the game, right? If anything goes wrong, we can ride the win. We have the Defy in hand. So the thought process here is we move the Wilder first to trade with one of the 4s. And then we can just move the Yasuo, kill the Sett with the attack trigger, then kill the Monk with a normal attack. And then we still have the Sunlit Guardian to just move into the other battlefield and get the 8th point. And then we attack with Yasuo. And our opponent concedes. So we'll now take our going second battlefield because I'm assuming he's gonna go first. We're all. We'll let him decide. So let's see what he says first. Okay. So as we expected. Okay, so here we have the mask, pretty good. Stack deck, really good. So I would say we probably want to bottom one of the masks, one of the Sanyas, and then we want to take this too. We can do this and stack deck. So we can we can play this, get stack deck, hopefully find a 3, and in turn 2 we will have 5 mana, so we can do a 3 and push him in with the mask. It's just gonna be massive. So we'll hope for that. Yeah, this is awesome. So in this scenario, you still want to play this first though, so you can have priority to take battlefields. But yeah, just wanted to show how what I was talking, that the 2s and the 1s can also help you set up your early plays. Yep, I'm good. Oof, that's a rough start for him. Okay, so I'll do 1, 2, 3. We'll do 1, 2, 3. Play the will there, and we'll pass. So yeah, so here he's kind of screwed. Again, I don't know his deck completely, but he cannot really push with this. And then what we can do next turn is we can play Mask, move him here. He's gonna our unit is essentially gonna defend as a 5. Oh well, now that he played it there, I might go chase him down since yeah. Well, let's see what he plays. But yeah, what I was gonna say is like if he wouldn't have Conquer, we would have gone into the ganking battlefield. We essentially can Conquer, play the Mask. Ooh, that's a cool card. Hold the Mask, and then we can go sideways. So essentially we're blocking both battlefields at the same time. So he would have been in a really tough spot there. I have been thinking about a deck to make this card work. Oh, okay. That's actually very greedy of him. I think that. Oh, okay. Wait a second. Did he pay for both? Yes, he did. So that's probably a call of the week, if I would have to guess. Now this is interesting. How much do we want to go for this battlefield? Because what we can do is, I'm just thinking. Because we can do Sonya's, go in, kill 1, and then it's gonna get pushed back, and then we can go again. But we'll need the Mask. No. Okay. Here's what I'm thinking. We can do Sonya's, go in, we kill 1, or if this is a hidden blade, we're gonna draw, which is massive. Then we go in again. Oh, but we would need Ride the Wind for that. I think I'll wait one more turn. I think we'll go with this, and then I'll do 1, 2, 3. So okay, the fight is huge, right? We can block whatever he just hit there. So we can put this to hand, bottom, bottom. Okay, so does that change what we're trying to do? Okay, this is just gonna help us set up for next turn, I think. So we'll go here. We'll conquer 1. We'll play 1, 2. We'll play the Mask. And then I think we want to make sure that our unit doesn't die, so we'll still play the Sonya's, but we might want to hide it. Yeah, we'll hide it. And then we'll do, how do you do this? This. And then we'll pass. So the reason I'm trying to hide it is because we don't have any good plays afterwards. And then we have essentially mana open for a Defy. Again, I don't know exactly what he's playing. So we can protect our unit. If he plays Call of the Week, I think I'll just flip the Sonya's, because I'd rather use Defy on hopefully a Hidden Blade. I think this is a Hidden Blade, I'm not 100% sure though. Sure, so let's scout as 2. Okay. So now what we'll do is we can go sideways, make him a 6. I'm gonna kill 1 and 2. So we hold to 2. Yeah, so essentially we have a ton of utility right now. I think he's pretty screwed. And remember the masks stack. So we'll go to 6. Mask trigger. Oops, I tried to ping that. And then I'll flip this. So now he has a decision to make. So I'll kill this and this. he would only get one, only channel one. Let's see, yeah, it's only one. And then we can do 1, 2, move him up. And then he goes to 7 this time, because mask again. Yep, as we thought. So then we'll just, sorry, we'll just defy that. And he's screwed. Yep, we'll get another point. We have 3, so we'll probably just want to play the Sunlit, and then we'll pass. So there, what I was thinking is we could have Ride the Wind, Show Call of the Week. I think I'd rather give him this guy in case he can accelerate something. So we'll just kill that guy. So this is one of the problems of the deck. Like we can see, we played a ton of cards, but we are getting, like now we're running out of cards. This is when it gets kind of tough. He's also low on resources. Is he gonna accelerate it? He didn't. Ooh, a Mind Splitter. Okay, so that's pretty good for us. So, usually I'm not a fan of just playing Mind Splitter like this, but we don't have any other play. We can see what he has, and then we can see if we want to conquer with our Sunlit Guardian or not. Jesus. Okay, well, go friendly. I actually don't know what's better here. I think this is essentially more creatures, so sure, we'll take one of those. We'll do this. And then, since we don't have a ton of units, we can play this to protect him. But I think we'll just pass. Yeah, because next turn, essentially we're gonna pass, because next turn, even if he kills this, we can move this up with our unit, with our Legend ability, conquer here, and then move him sideways, and then conquer here. So we still have a pretty good place, even if our Sunlit Guardian dies. And our Sunlit Guardian is essentially gonna be a 5. That's fine. Our opponent is thinking really hard right now. Okay. So we know he has 2 baited hooks, whatever he just added. Oh, so I guess he just drew the other 2. Okay. Sure, he can conquer that. He goes to 3. Sure. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, he's screwed, right? Like, this is a 3, and this is a 4, a 7 if this goes in. What is he paying? Oh, he's hiding a card. Interesting. Okay, so that makes things kinda sketchy now. Because if this is a hidden blade, we won't be able to react with the Ride the Wind. So I kinda hate this position, not gonna lie. Okay, so here's what I'm thinking. We really want to conquer this, right? So we can go sideways, trigger this, make him a 4, and then we can kill the Rek'Sai. We can gust the other one to force him to use this, and then we can conquer for free. So we'll do that. So we'll trade. Yep. Alright, guy dies, and then we'll just gust. He's gonna have to hit him blade. Yep. That's fine. You can draw. That's okay. Yep. And then we'll conquer for free. Go to 6. So now here the question is, do we want to do this here, play this, or not? Because it will be vulnerable. So I think the answer is actually, we can also bring this back. I mean, I guess there's Falling Star. Yeah, I think we'll just pass. We'll probably just hide this here, just in case, and we'll pass. We have the right to win open, so we can technically win in his turn. So this is another one of those, yeah, that's tough. Sure. So yeah, we're still fine. With Ride the Wind, essentially what we can do is we'll get the Yasuo. We'll be at 8, right? We'll get the Yasuo, Ride the Wind here, kill whatever is here, ganking sideways, and then we just win the game. So that was probably a misplay. I think I should have probably played the Yasuo, but I think we're still fine. I think we still have this game pretty easily. Yeah, so now we just do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get the Yasuo. Boop, boop. Well, we could have done it with this guy, but you know it's cooler with Yasuo. And then we'll do this. Ride the Wind. We'll score. And then we'll go sideways. And then we'll score the 8th. And that's GG. There, I should have definitely done it with this, right? Like, he's completely top out. It doesn't really matter, but you probably want to do it with this in case anything goes wrong. But yeah, so that's a little bit of the deck. Shows some important plays. You know how with Ride the Wind we can go up here, do the ganking. We show some of the splitter plays. So yeah, just in general how it's pretty good.